The four bodies model helps us hold ourselves in all our complexity and make empowered decisions about what domain our healing or growth work needs to focus on. This model helps us step back from the paradigm that all healing needs to happen through the physical body, and to acknowledge that if we're experiencing pain and dis-ease in the physical body, there are times when just looking through the lens of the physical will limit our healing. Because we can have just as much dis-ease or imbalance in the other three bodies, the emotional, intellectual, or spiritual, as we do in the physical. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to what dis-ease or imbalance can look and feel like in each of these domains, and suggest a few ideas of how to heal and grow in each one. But first, I'm Samantha Mackay, coach at The Individual Process, where I help clever, competent people finally uncover why they don't have the life they yearn for and help them get it. But before we talk about each of the bodies or the domains, let's explore how this model helps us shift our understanding of our bodies. And there are three things I want to cover here. Firstly, we are more than our physical body. Secondly, our intangible bodies are as complex as our physical body, what it means to work with one body at a time. So let's start with we are more than a physical body. On the whole, we live in a paradigm that places the physical body at the center of the healthcare or healing model. It focuses on breaking the body down into its component parts and seeing how each of them work independently. Now, that is slowly changing. And in recent years, we've started to see a shift towards more integrative models of healthcare that consider how all those physical aspects of the body interact, and starting to see the physical body in itself as a whole system. But that still leaves out the role and influence of emotions and thoughts and our interconnection and the impact that has on the body. And when we consider our health from a truly holistic perspective, it needs to consider all parts of our being. And humans are far more than just being physical automatons. In the last 40 or so years, the work of Candace Pert, John Sarno, Bessel van der Kolk, and Ina Siegel, and many, many others have shown us time and again that these intangible aspects of ourselves have an effect on the state of the physical body. As our inner world is unique to each of us, it's not simple or straightforward to standardize, measure, or test for, even assess what's going on in a 15-minute consultation, which makes this sort of truly holistic view of the body hard to fit into our current system of healthcare. The second thing to talk about is how our intangible bodies are just as complex as our physical body. Even if we don't know a lot about the physical body, we have a good idea it's a complex system with many different parts that all work together to keep us up and about every day. But our intangible bodies, our emotional, intellectual, and spiritual bodies, can't be seen. And we aren't as aware of all that's happening in those domains, and they aren't as widely understood as the physical body is. So it's become very easy to assume that these are simple systems that only play a small role in our everyday lives. We might assume that the emotions exist only around the heart and in the chest, and our thoughts and beliefs are the focus of the brain and the head, and our spirit and our connection to all living things is something we somehow just sense. And while all of that is true, it's far from the whole story, because our emotions are woven through and can affect every part of our body. Unprocessed emotions can get stuck in any part of our body. And while it might feel like we do most of our thinking with our heads and our mind is in our brains, our thoughts and beliefs affect how we act every day, because our body is our unconscious mind, not our heads, but our bodies, better known as the body mind. And as for our spiritual body and interconnection to all living things around us, well, we are made of energy as much as we are of physical matter. And as that energy vibrates, so do we. It's not always easy to notice or detect, but it is there. Our emotional, intellectual, and spiritual bodies are far more complex than the world we live in gives them credit for. And lastly, this model reminds us that all four bodies are interconnected, but it helps if we focus on healing one at a time. It's hard to spot when we have dis-ease, stress, or imbalances in the intangible bodies. It's natural to ignore or overlook these symptoms, especially as we can't see them. We might feel the aftershocks of our emotional outbursts, or have headaches from overthinking, or feel lost from a lack of purpose, but it can be hard to acknowledge they represent any kind of serious imbalance in our wider system. But when imbalances in those systems are ignored and the pressure continues to build, it will eventually show up in the physical body. And in this model, I think of healing being about taking pressure out of the system. And we need to do that one body at a time, generally starting with the physical body. And there's a few reasons for that. The physical body is the place where we learn how to ground and release energy, to let the pressure flow out of the system. So when we create stability in the physical body, it increases our capacity to more clearly look at what the body's intangible needs are. Because the more intangible the body, the more stability required to support it. Now, that doesn't mean we have to completely heal the physical body before moving up the chain. But for example, it does mean we need to have enough stability in the physical body to hold space for the processing and accessing and exploring and releasing of emotions that sit above it. Like a series of cushions that stack on top of each other. The aim is for them to support each other and not topple over. Okay, so all of this brings me to the 3 key decisions this model can help us make. And they are: 1, which body is calling to be healed right now? If it's not the physical body, which one might it be? 2, does the cushioning body, the one underneath, have enough stability to support the required healing work? And 3, what kind of healing work would relieve the pressure on this body right now? So with those questions in mind, let's talk about each body in turn. Starting with the physical body, it generally represents all parts of the physical self that you're most aware of: your skin, your digestive system, your muscles, all the major systems and organs. When the physical body is in a state of ease, it feels open, flexible, free of pain and toxicity and acidity. It is easy to relax. It has everything it needs to be in balance. But as it shifts into a state of dis-ease, the body starts to feel tight, heavy or stressed. Our systems aren't functioning optimally. Aches and pains and niggles start to arise and eventually can limit our movements, our sleep, and our sense of being. So how can you release pressure from the physical body? Well, the answer to that will be entirely unique to you and your system. Sometimes that can mean getting more sleep, drinking more water, eating better food, and incorporating simple physical movement into your day. It also includes physical touch, such as hugs, massage, baths, or connecting your bare feet to the earth. But at times we need more specific support to help relieve the pressure. That can range from supplements, acupuncture, physiotherapy, to getting more specific tests, seeing specialists, and having more invasive procedures. But here's an example from my experience. My digestion system was struggling. I wasn't processing my food well or absorbing nutrients. So with the help of a naturopath, I started on the autoimmune food protocol. She gave me supplements to support my gut to process food and absorb nutrients. I also saw a massage therapist that focused on digestion, and these small steps relieved some pressure, creating some space in the body so that healing could occur. And then I noticed my skin started to heal up. And then that in turn freed up more space to start attending to other issues like insomnia, anxiety, and pain. Okay, next is the emotional body. Our emotional body is our system of feelings and the stories we associate with them, both past and present. In ease, we are trusting, empathetic, open, inclusive, and non-judgmental. We're able to give and receive with ease and without expectation. We can stay with each emotion as it arises, not avoiding, denying, or holding on to it. Under pressure and out of balance, we struggle to trust others. We have little empathy. It's difficult to share our real feelings, and we project our emotions onto others. It can feel like our emotions are something to be battled with, or in some way they dictate our day, even when we aren't fully aware of what that emotion is or what it's trying to say. And so we relieve pressure from this system by being able to acknowledge and release unprocessed emotions and to work with emotions as they arise. Now, we can do that through activities like structured journaling and learning what each emotion feels like in your body and giving it a name. We can work with emotions-focused therapist or an emotion code practitioner. The physical body is also a place of processing. Dance, cardio, any form of exercise can help us reconnect to an emotion and release it. And creative activities like songwriting, poetry, painting, and crafting can help us access and process those emotions too. The Enneagram can help us understand our relationship to each of the core emotions and help us access each one more authentically. And we can learn how to open up to others too. In addition to releasing old, unprocessed emotions, at a basic level, we're learning how to stay with each emotion as it arises and breathe through it, not taking any action until we observe the information the emotion is bringing to us. Okay, so next is the intellectual body. This is the domain of thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, and decision-making. It is the home of comparison and our inner critic. In a state of ease, we communicate clearly, problem solve effectively, and are innovative and come to decisions in a timely fashion. In dis-ease, we feel confused, overwhelmed by too many thoughts or too much information. We might worry excessively and feel at the mercy of our inner critic. So to reduce pressure in this body, our aim is to help calm and focus the mind. We can do that through simple movements like yoga, tai chi or qigong, or more intense exercise like cardio or boxing. All forms of mindfulness and meditation can help. Learning how to critically evaluate information and decisions is useful, as well as researching a topic or seeking new information in some way. To work more intensely in this body, cognitive therapy, as opposed to emotional therapy, can assist, and any methodology that helps to release false beliefs is really useful here. So that leaves us with the spiritual body, the most intangible of the four. The spiritual body is how we connect to our purpose, our intuition, our creative expression, and our connection to all living things. In ease, we feel calm and fearless, creative, in touch with our intuition, and are able to live without limits, and we feel supported by the world around us. In dis-ease, we feel disconnected from our intuition and from something larger than ourselves. We can feel lost, get stuck in daydreaming, unable to keep our feet on the ground or turn our thoughts into reality. To heal this body, we practice expressing our authentic creativity. This is different from the creativity for healing the emotional bodies. This isn't about processing emotions, but rather connecting to what our authentic selves want to say, do, or create. Other practices that help are connecting to our intuition, meditation, visualizations, and values work, being present to higher level emotions such as gratitude, forgiveness, and generosity, and connecting to the wider world through volunteering, as well as asking for help. So that is the four bodies model. So the key decisions it helps us make are: which body needs healing right now? Does the body below it have sufficient cushioning or stability? And 3, what kind of healing work would help relieve the pressure from this body right now? If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to receive future videos, and there's more resources to assist your healing journey on the website.